All right, guys, welcome to the stage for the first time at Midwest Preparedness Project, Mr. Bear Independent himself.
Yay. Hi, guys. I'm Bear. Who's that? Is that you? Oh, hi. It's good to meet you. What's your name?
Pete.
Pete?
Yes.
Like a Peterbilt?
Yeah.
Okay, like that. Where are you from, Pete?
Here, speaking.
Here? Okay. Everybody's from like 20 miles away here.
Roughly 20 miles.
Pretty much, yeah. My hotel is 20 miles away. It's cool. Hi, I'm Bear from the internet, for those that don't know me. This is a cool event. We do lots of events, and most of them are prepper events, and most of them are like super militaristic, like testosterone. Like if you can't shoot a sniper rifle, you're gonna die in SHTF. And this is not quite that way, so I appreciate it. Super cool. I am going to talk to you about something today. Last Sunday, one of my friends said, "Hey, you're going to that thing, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going." She's like, "You're talking, right?" I'm like, "I think so." She's like, "You're definitely talking. It says you're talking on the website." Awesome. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, that's a sweet question. She said, "Well, on the website, it says you're talking about verification, trust, and compartmentalization." I was like, "Well, I should probably talk about that then, since that's what the website says." So that's what we're going to talk about today. Verification, trust, and compartmentalization. Somewhere there's a sweet spot in between these speakers that doesn't feed back. No, there's not? I just chucked the in-sync headset? Is that what it is? Okay, thank you. So I'm assuming everybody here is like kind of into prepper stuff? No? No, we're just bored. Thank you, Pastor Joe. Thank you. I'm going to preface my conversation with this. This is going to be as boring or as interesting as you make it. Tracking? 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 Thank you. Please. I need that energy.
See you eye to eye.
All right. Appreciate you. So if you're into preparedness, hopefully you understand the value of people, mutual assistance groups. Yes? Yes? One blank stare in the back, not into it. That's cool. Mutual assistance groups. Why do I need people?
You gotta sleep sometime.
That's a good answer. I can't do it all myself. What all is there that you cannot do?
Protect all the food.
All the things. Grow the food and security, right? So I call this the militant farmer concept. Like have a shovel, have a rifle, know how to use both. Make sense? Yep. Okay. Good. We're laying some foundation here so we can go somewhere else. So you come to events like this so you can find other people. Oh my gosh, you live in Topeka and you live in Topeka and you live in Topeka? Topeka Mag. By the way, if you're here and not doing that, you're not using this event to its full potential. Tracking? Okay, cool. Make friends. And yes, we're all weird and introverted, and some of us probably don't really want to be here, and we definitely don't want to talk to people that we've never met before, you came here, use the time to your advantage. People also come to these things for personal validation, because it's cool. Oh my gosh, you have that knife? I have that knife too. Knives are awesome. Did you get your knife sharpened over here? Knives are incredible, right? Blah, 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 blah. You like a 308? I like a 308, right? Personal validation. But the most important thing we should be doing here is building relationships. The reason we need relationships is because you can't do it all, and I can't do it all, and Pastor Joe can't do it all. But maybe, hopefully, if we all come together when the world ends, which is a terrible time to come together, by the way, okay? Like, oh no, Russia is nuking us. Everybody get together. I don't even know if I like you yet. And now you're here. And, it gets weird. So you should form relationships prior to an event that would require them. Tracking? Yeah? We're good with that? Makes sense? Okay. So I need relationships with people for division of labor. If you will lead the garden, I will go march over there into those woods and come back with firewood. Deal? Deal. Awesome. Also, specialization of labor. Maybe I know nothing about gardening and you know nothing about producing firewood. Cool, I'll handle the firewood. You're the medic. If somebody gets injured, you're in charge. But also, we need to weed the garden and we need to cut firewood. See how that all kind of works together? So specialization of labor. Everybody thinks, all the dudes think they're on the security team. They do. Every one of you here is like, I'm on security. I got this. I have a battle rifle. That's cute. So does everybody else. Weed the garden, okay? Because yeah, we do need dudes with rifles. That's important-ish. It's not as important as what William just did. If you can't take a sheep and turn it into food, we're gonna have much bigger problems sooner. So, production and distribution of resources. Why would I be in a group? I don't know how many sheep I've given away. A lot. I've lost count of how many sheep I've given away. Probably more than I've eaten, and I've eaten a lot of sheep. And there's still a lot of sheep at my house. JT has cows that used to be mine that I didn't want cows anymore, so we made a deal. As many as you can capture, you can have. And he got most of them. So I didn't actually get rid of the cows that I don't want. I still have cows. Bless you, brother, you're amazing. And recently he came back, I don't know, group chat, I can't remember. It's like, hey man, your half of a cow is ready for pickup at the butcher. What? That's awesome. I didn't even know we had a cow at the butcher. Cool, right? Because I'm over here doing this thing, he's over there doing that thing. And, well, most of our people have sheep, but you guys have goats. And sheep, right? But you have goats. I can't stand goats. I hate goats, but they love goats. But if I needed some goat stuff, I know people who have goat stuff. Does that make sense? Production and distribution of resources. Firewood. I'm pretty freaking good at firewood. I just am. Just done a lot of firewood. So I will trade you firewood for ribeyes. That's a win-win for me. Because for JT, it's easier to make ribeyes, hypothetically, than it is to make firewood. For me, it's easier to make firewood than it is to make a ribeye appear. What about family and legacy? This is a new one for me because my two older children are both in really serious relationships with people that we met through preparedness and faith. So my family is actually growing because of this lifestyle. So if we go to when the world ends, okay, if you have kids, who are they going to marry? Well, we're not marrying anybody when the world ends. Maybe not. Define when the world ends. Remember when COVID hit? Remember that? It was like super weird. For the first 90 days, I was like, this is it. This is the Black Plague. I'm staying home. We had one of those pump sprayers filled with bleach, and we had our gate closed. And the UPS truck would show up and just like kick stuff out of the truck at the gate. We'd let it sit in the sunshine for a day because it has the Black Plague on it. And then we would spray it with bleach and let it sit for another day. Okay. Life continued, right? And that's, I don't know, if we get nuked right now or the grid goes down, yeah, things are going to be much weirder than they are right now. But that's not the most likely threat. The most likely threat is the sky, the weather, or your terrible health because you don't PT and cupcakes are awesome or whatever you're into, right? That's the most likely threat. It's not the most dangerous threat, but it's the most likely. Tornadoes, hurricanes, we've done 50-something grindstone deployments since 2018. I don't know. I lost count. Is it 50? We've done 50. You know who's never been there when we show up to clean up a tornado or a hurricane? The Russians. They've never been there. It doesn't mean that they might, they could get us. And I track geopolitical stuff too, because what if the Russians do get us? That's a different ballgame. But up until then, power goes out, job loss, injury, illness. This is normal prepping stuff. Me and Amanda were just talking about this earlier. Normal prepping stuff. Any of y'all ever have to break into your food storage just for normal reasons? I have. I was what you call poor. We didn't have any money, but we had a literal tons of food. One less thing we gotta buy. Super cool. So having people, we got division of labor, specialization of labor, production and distribution of resources, family and legacy, and then because God said so. So I don't know if you are a Bible believer or not. I am, and I take what it says really seriously. And it's not good for man to be alone. That's why Adam got a wife. But I'm also my brother's keeper. If I don't have any brothers to keep, how am I supposed to be obedient to that? So I will keep my brothers by giving them firewood, and they can keep me by giving me ribeyes, and we win. Tracking? Does this make sense so far? Okay. So relationships are important. Who should I be in a relationship with? I'm guessing most of us have gone on dates before. Yes? It's kind of weird. It's a little awkward. You're like, they don't look like their profile pic. They talk too much. Yeah. It's a lot like that, finding people. So a quick rundown and then a story. What do I look for? Number one, high degrees of ideological alignment. Do we believe the same way about the most important things in life? You don't get past my gate if the answer to that is no. We can be friends, but you're not welcome here, okay? You get to figure out what your ideology is, and you get to find people that adhere to your ideology. For me and mine, this man rubbed oil on my forehead and said, "You're a pastor now." So I'm a pastor now. We read the Bible and we do what it says. And that's a key part of who we are and how we conduct ourselves. What's also interesting about that is we all have the same rule book. So it's not my opinion versus your opinion. It's just like, what should we do? I don't know. Let's get the user manual. It says we do this. Okay, cool. We'll do that. It actually simplifies a lot of things. It also complicates things because maybe your interpretation of what that says is different than mine. So you have to know what your deal breakers are. High degrees of ideological alignment. Proven track record. Do they do what they say they're going to do? My friend, my brother, J.A. Dudley, I can call him literally at 3 o'clock in the morning and he'll be there. And whatever problems I have, he is happy to take off of my plate. He does what he says he's going to do. If I ask him to do something, it gets done. That's a big deal. If people are inconsistent, right now it's easy, right? It's like at the tent at 3:15 in the afternoon, after the sheep butchering thing, Bear's going to say words. That's easy. If you are late to that, you're probably not going to make it when the world ends. I'm also really trying to watch my language. I've been working a lot on that, especially here because there's a lot of children, which is cool. Cool vibe. So Messiah tells us, you shall know them by their fruits. And behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his works. What do? Do you do what you said you were going to do? If I was like, yeah, I'll be there on the 8th, I'll talk. And people come and they hear Bear talk, and I'm not here, you'd probably be pretty mad about that. I'd be mad about it. So do people do what they say they're going to do, which leads into, are they trustworthy? Is their yes, yes, and their no, no? We hyperfixate on is your yes wiggly, but I also don't like when your no is wiggly, okay? Most of y'all probably have kids. My kids drive me nuts when they're like, Dad, can I have my 8-year-old is ice cream. Can I have ice cream? It's 5 minutes to bedtime. You're supposed to be brushing your teeth. No, you cannot have ice cream. Please, Dad, can I have ice cream? I meant no the first time. And no is only going to get worse for you each time I have to tell you no again. Make sense? A couple of chuckles. So we hyperfixate on is your yes, yes, but is your no, no as well? Can you talk me out of my position into yours and cause me to capitulate on my convictions due to, I don't know, social pressure? Can you move me and turn my no into a yes? Maybe. Maybe if I'm wrong, if you're like, man, Bear, you're a total jerk. Look, it says right here you're not supposed to do that. Oh, I've never seen that before. You're right. My bad. But if it's ice cream before bedtime, the answer is no. So let your yes be yes and your no be no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You guys good? Okay, cool. Thank you, Amanda. And then competent and hardworking. I like people that are competent. I don't like to babysit people. That goes back to let your yes be yes, let your no be no. They're trustworthy. If I say, hey, Sister Kate, can you handle that? I know the answer is yes. It's yes. And if it's not yes, she'll come find me. On the flip side, I hate when I'm doing something and people just watch me do it the whole time. Because this is already awkward and uncomfortable, right? Because I'm in your bubble. Yeah, and I should just leave you alone, right? Yeah. I can't stand when I've been entrusted with a purview and somebody's on you like a hawk. You shouldn't have to be on people like a hawk. I have things to do. Why do I have to babysit you doing your things? So I'm a huge fan of competent and hardworking. So you can have competency in something, you can know how to do it, but you can also be lazy and not do it. So those two things go together for me. Competent, you can actually do the work, and you're hardworking. You do the work. Last, willing to give and receive reproof and instruction, AKA interpersonal communication skills. Combo. Who here has a Baofeng or a Yesu? I do not care. You know why I don't care? Because if you can't look at somebody in the eyeball and say, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? If we add technology into the equation, we're only making it harder, right? And so the reason I bring this up is because if you are endeavoring to do life with people, but you can't talk to people, it's gonna go sideways really fast. Does that make sense? Okay. Who in here is an introvert? They're like, I don't even want to put my hand up. We're introverted. Don't ask. Which means the rest of us are technically extroverts, right? Introverts and extroverts communicate differently. They communicate to one another differently. I have been pulled aside on many an occasion and said, hey, pause when you ask a question. Wait for a response. Breathe. And in my head, there is screaming. And it's me that is screaming because we got to fill the dead space. Even right now, I feel uncomfortable just that. Okay? So how I communicate versus how you communicate, I have to be able to convey critical things to you. You have to be able to convey critical things to me. And what we think are critical might be completely different. It may be critical that we get in there today and we weed this garden. Well, this has got to happen. Okay. Or X, Y, Z. And it is, for me, it is critical. We've got rain coming in. We got to get in the woods. We got to cut this wood so we can get it cut, split, put up so that we don't freeze to death this winter. And you're like, we won't make it to winter if we starve to death. I'm like, but if we don't starve to death, then we're going to freeze to death this winter. And now we're at an impasse, right? What's that? We need more people, which gets back to how am I going to feed all these people? And which gets back to security team. Because every man on earth who's into preparedness thinks he's on the security team. That is so commoditized with us, with our group, that's expected of you. It's like, oh yeah, of course you can shoot and run and pack a rucksack. And yeah, that's just a given. Do you know how to weed the garden? Because we're really hurting for getting the garden weeded today. And then you have to deflate that ego and be like, all right, cool. We're weed the garden today. What's your name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Lisa's in charge of weeding the garden today. You have all these military-age males on their knees pulling things out of the garden because it's important. But Lisa's got to be able to say to me, yo, Mr. Bear, this is super important. And I have to honor and respect you when you bring it to me. And you have to honor and respect me if I go, you're correct. That is super important. We are not doing that today. And that doesn't mean I don't like you. And it doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It just means we don't have the bandwidth to weed the garden today. I know. It has to get done today. We're doing that tomorrow morning. Today, we're cutting wood. So, willing to give and receive a proof of instruction, AKA interpersonal communication skills. If you can't look somebody in the eyeball and talk to them, you got to work on that. Introducing technology into the mix doesn't help. And I think it's cool to be able to bounce a signal off of the ionosphere and hit Chile from here. That's awesome. I have no reason to talk to anybody in Chile right now. I need to be able to look at you in the eyeball and communicate. Does that make sense? Good? Okay, cool. All right, so now we got a group of people. We're here. Russia has nuked us, and we're stuck here. The grid goes down, the InSync headset doesn't work anymore. We're just here. Now what do we do? So, all right, I have a group. How much should I trust them with? This is where things get really interesting. A phrase that Pastor Joe uses, circles within circles. Not everybody gets to know everything. This is not a democracy. It's probably, in its early stages, not going to be a representative republic either. And a lot of people don't like that. It will probably be a benevolent dictatorship at its inset. And there's a lot of people that push back against that. And my answer to that is, cool, you lead. You know what happens every time I tell somebody to do that? They don't. Good idea, fairies. You guys familiar with that? Hey, boss, we should insert thing here. We should go fishing tomorrow for tilapia in the pond. Great idea. You're in charge of that. No, I was just saying that. I'm saying I love it. Make it happen. You do that enough times, people stop bringing you their good ideas. Or, and this is the best, they don't even talk to you about their good ideas. They just do it. They execute and they come home, firewood's cut, garden's weeded, and we have tilapia for dinner. This is amazing. So, circles within circles. Not everybody needs to know everything because you can't give away information you don't know. That sounds like, Sears School, or you're going to be interrogated. Tell me where the food is. Well, if you don't know, you can't give it away. But I'll give you a real world example. My wife doesn't know all of our plans for when the balloon goes up because she doesn't need to know. We have a sister and a friend who lives near us who was at an event like this and was just talking to somebody who was just talking and told this person they were talking to exactly where we live. Bro, OPSEC. I'm Bear from the internet. I don't want people knowing where I live, okay? And you probably don't want people knowing where you live. At least not on the first date. We'll get to that in a minute. So, just in normal everyday conversation, you ever heard of elicitation? Anybody ever heard that word before? I know you have. Anybody else in the back? Elicitation. To elicit. Okay. Lisa, right? How long have you been gardening, Lisa?
Flowers all my life, but I'm a vegetable gardener from COVID.
From COVID, you've been a vegetable gardener. What is your favorite vegetable to grow?
I like garlic, but I'm trying to focus on the calories. So the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, I want to add rutabagas, parsnips, all that stuff.
Root vegetables, because it's high caloric density for stuff that grows below the ground, unless it's grains, corn, rice, wheat, beans. But tubers, packed with stuff. So you like garlic. you just eat straight garlic? It's okay. It's fine if you just eat straight. What do you do with all this garlic that you have?
Well, almost everything I make
Okay.
has some garlic in it, and then I do like honey ferments for medicine and things like that.
So like, yeah, Foe's wife made us do that one time. Master tonic. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I haven't made it yet, but I always have some on hand.
Okay. It's nasty. Have you ever tasted it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. What about elderberry syrup?
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. How many people do you have tinctures for?
Good.
All of us?
No.
No. Okay. Do you know what I want to know from you right now?
Sure.
What size your shoes are? Do you know what I'm doing? I'm having a conversation with you.
Oh.
In a forced manner in front of all these people, and you're uncomfortable because you're a little introverted and you've never met Bear from the internet before. But I'm just having a conversation with you. The garlic's great. I don't care about the garlic. I want to know what size your shoes are. Not that that matters. It's just an example. So we have conversations with people all the time and give away information all the time that we don't even know we're giving away. Does that make sense? So that's why not everybody gets to know everything. Okay. This next thing is, for those that don't know, I have 5 businesses, 2 ministries. We have a tribe that is also a faith group that has sub-assemblies and is also a mutual assistance group. And I have 4 kids and an awesome wife and live on a homestead. So don't be spaghetti. What does that mean, Nicole? What does don't be spaghetti mean? Okay, good. Yes, don't be wiggly, wacky, inflating, flailing arm tube man. So a year and a half ago, Monica, one of my admins, came to me, and she walks into the office and she throws her hands up in the air, sits down at her desk in a huff. Ugh. What's the matter, Monica? She goes, "We're fucking spaghetti." I'm like, "We're what? We're spaghetti? Like the noodle?" She goes, "Yes, we're spaghetti." I'm going to need you to explain to me, Monica, what this means. And she said, what I want, which again, know your people, context and dwell time. She said, I need a dozen different plates, and your life is one big pot of spaghetti, and I need to pull each noodle out and put it on a plate straight where it goes. Because you know who's running my companies right now? My wife. Because my wife is running my companies, because I'm here, she's not watching my 1-year-old, which means Fo from the sales table, his second oldest daughter is watching my baby. She also dates my son, which is super cool, who bought a used truck from one of our ministries that spaghetti, okay? So as much as you can, don't be spaghetti. The smaller your group is, the more spaghettified you will be, because there is no specialization of labor and there's a large amount of sharing of resources. But once you can, start assigning specific purviews to each person. Make sense? Okay. Are your wheels turning? Or are you just, I'm really boring you right now? You're in the sauce. It's the spaghetti sauce is what it was. Lisa has garlic for the spaghetti sauce. We can get the garlic after we weed the garden. Okay, before tilapia.
Silent service.
Silent service?
Yeah.
No.
Submarine.
Okay.
World War II.
Yep.
You had all kinds of guys go into bars and stuff, and you have people trying to get information. When you leave, where are you going?
Yep.
What have you done? We did pretty good, but then we had a senator that was bragging. Your stepchargers aren't getting our votes because they're not going anywhere.
Yep.
They started getting our votes.
Yep.
Don't let pride get you either.
So There's an art to having a conversation and saying nothing.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
Maybe one right now. All right. So, situation normal. All, yeah. So, don't be spaghetti. Things that don't need to touch shouldn't touch. Tracking? Okay. And then there's levels to relationships. Can I have a sleepover at your house tonight, Lisa? Probably not. That's a good answer. What if I'm a psychopath? You don't know yet, right? I'm picking on you because you're right here. Cool. We don't even know each other. I've just been talking to you for the last however long, 30 minutes. I probably shouldn't have your address. Maybe your phone number, maybe, but probably an email to coordinate with to do a meetup for next time, okay? But then after we meet up a few times, here's my phone number. Hey, by the way, however long later, as you continue to build trust, I live over here. By the way, I love garlic and I wear a size 7 women's or whatever it is. Is it 7? Did I guess right? What is it? Ah, there it is. Good job. All right, so don't be spaghetti. If two purviews don't touch, don't make them touch.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the spaghetti.
Yes.
Community building, relationship building is spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, like if you're weeding people together, I have my own business and I really like when people kind of overlap in my office. I'm like, hey, you probably know this person who knows this person and connect. They're
Yep.
passing, you know. Because I think that's important in making everybody feel connected. So if you're team building, everybody says connect. And I think are you saying when you get bigger then?
What
What
I'm saying is this. Yes, network effect is incredibly important. Without network effect, none of us would be sitting here right now. So very important. But most people are not good. Just think about business and personal. How many people do you know are just stellar at separating business and personal? That's spaghetti, okay? So if me and Lisa are now in an argument because the garden has to get weeded and I have to cut firewood and she's mad about something, I don't know, we were playing poker 3 weeks ago and I took all of her money. And she's still mad about that. And now that's now affecting, we never resolved that, that's now affecting everything we've got going forward. The spaghetti is more about people's ability to deal with layers of relationship. Business is easy. Business with people you love is very, very hard. Ask me how I know. Okay, then add into that, his daughter dates my son. And we live next door to each other, and we're in a mutual assistance group, and we go to the same church. And you start building layers here. It's almost, this talk should be called spaghetti versus lasagna, okay? Next, check people's work before and especially after you trust them with something. You ever heard the phrase, inspect what you expect? Yep. So a lot of times what happens is we have context and dwell time and rapport, and I'm like, Lisa's got the garden. Lisa said she's going to handle it. It's no big deal. And she's like, Bear's going to go cut firewood. It's no big deal. And you're over here in your purview, unspaghettified, doing your thing, and I'm over here in my purview, unspaghettified, doing my thing. And it's time for dinner, and I'm like, where's all the garlic? We haven't had garlic for weeks. Where did it go? Rain, sun, dirt, whatever. We have no food. What the, Lisa, where's the food? Or winter rolls around and you don't pay attention to firewood because I'm the firewood guy. Winter rolls around and we're supposed to have 20 cords cut and there's a cord and a half. What have you guys been doing the last 6 months? You're not gonna just get more stuff out of the ground, food-wise. You're not gonna magically make 20 more cords of firewood. So we get comfortable with people, and then we stop holding them accountable, right? And so now it doesn't matter if their yes is yes, if their no is no. If I'm not checking that your yes is still yes, that you're not operating in the purview that you've got, it doesn't matter. So check people's work and be willing to have other people check your work. Did I do what I said I was going to do? Because if I don't, we all fail, whether that's a faith group or a business or anything else. This is a good one. I've never given this talk before, so thank you for bearing with me. But these are all concepts that I've touched on before. He who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. You ever hear that before? Okay. If you give somebody, on the flip side, you give somebody too much of a purview before they're ready for it, it's really dangerous. It's dangerous to the individual from a morale standpoint, self-esteem standpoint. It's also dangerous to the organization. We do a lot of things, and we do a lot of things quickly. So I like being able to just do a handoff. Hey, Lisa, can you handle this for me? Sure thing, T. Got it. Awesome. And that's Lisa. She rocks. She does such a great job weeding the garden. I know that she can handle this thing too. And I'm back over here, and I don't check because I trust Lisa. And then the thing never happens. And you're crushed because the thing never happened. And we're dead or whatever because the thing never happened. So don't give people more than they can handle. Plus 10%. 10% is where the growth is at. The struggle. It's the last rep when you're bench pressing. It's the last rep that actually builds muscle. The first ones are just getting you to where you can get to the last rep. Coffee dates before marriage. That goes back to information control. And that's a much nicer way to say what I'm trying to say than the way I used to say it when there weren't all these children around. Coffee dates before marriage. Get to know people as much as you can slowly over time. If the balloon goes up right now, we really don't know each other. I mean, we know each other, but we don't know everybody. I'll be perfectly honest. Balloon goes up right now, cool. I'm either leaving or love you guys, we're in charge. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Patrick. And you'd be like, this is our event. Like, well, I guess we can't stay here later because I don't know you. I don't know what I'm working with. This is our first coffee date. Even though for 3 years, it's like, let's get together, let's spend time, let's breathe the same air together. Awesome. But you don't want to give away too much too quickly. Because some people are just freaking weird, being perfectly honest. Going back to circles within circles, if you have all these different circles, I've had people who have lived in my backyard for a year in a hammock, because that sounded really cool at the time, that I am not friends with anymore. And they were 100 yards from where my kids sleep. And now it's like, no, we're not homies, not even a little bit. We don't hang out, we don't get along. That's too close too soon, okay? So start on the periphery. He who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. Work your way back towards the center. Mark is here somewhere. There he is. And he was like, I think what you guys are doing with Bear Camp is so cool. Like, how do I become part of what you have going on? And I'm not picking on you, bro. I'm just illustrating the point. It's like, well, don't just move next door, because proximity doesn't equate to relationship, by the way. You should be friendly with your neighbors. But if you move in next door to me, it doesn't mean you're part of our church group and our mutual assistance group. It just means you live on that side of the fence. I'm commanded to love you. I'll be nice to you. But coffee dates before marriage. So you start on the outside first. Hey, I live in the same county as you. Oh, that's awesome. I keep running into this guy at the feed store. He seems pretty cool. What's up, man? Oh, yeah, I got cows. No way, I have cows too. JT has most of them. He gives me steaks. Blah, 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 blah. Now we're having a conversation. I want to know what size shoes you have, or whatever. Elicitation. That's crazy. Yeah. You read the Bible? I read the Bible. That's crazy. You want to have a Bible study sometime? Oh, sure. We meet at this church on this day. Okay. One circle in. You go to the church. You hang out. And people start recognizing you as like, there's that guy, that bear dude from the internet. That's crazy, man. We should invite him to Wednesday night small group. One circle in. Wednesday night small group, it's like, hey, a few of us, we go to the range. The first Monday of the month, we go to the range, man. It's pretty serious. one small group, or one step in, one step in. Now it's like, where's the range? Well, it's behind my house. What's the address to your house? Do I trust that guy enough to give him the address to my house? And then it gets to the point where it's like, that's Dudley. Dudley has more of my debit cards than I do. It's a fact. But it didn't start that way. I didn't wake up one morning and I had a J.A. Dudley and I was like, hey, take care of this. He's like, of course, boss, no problem. Like now at this point, and I'm very blessed that I have a bunch of people like that. Everybody has their purview. They've been de-spaghettified. Can you handle that? Awesome. Which card do I put it on? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to put it on this card. Sounds great. Ask Monica. Okay? But you start on the outside and work your way in towards the center. If you bring people too close too quickly, they can hurt you. And right now, it's probably emotional, maybe financial. It could be lethal later on. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, so we're all here because it's cool and we're cool, and because we want to learn some prepper skills, and because we need to find some people. We're doing a quick recap. Tracking? Yep, okay. And we all understand relationships are important. Cool. And we need to figure out who should I be in relationship with and how quickly should we move. Okay, cool. So then how do we do that? Well, one is context and dwell time. Spend time with people. How do I decide who to spend time with? Well, there's external indicators. That really cool lady over there has a refuge shirt on. And I know she's cool, or at least I believe that she's cool because she came to class. And I remember running her through scenarios. That's a starter, right? Or maybe you've got, oh, dude, that's an awesome shirt. There's like a bunch of SOE stuff. Okay. Well, that's a whole thing when it comes to rapport building for intel operations. One of us. You like SOE? I like SOE. I'm just like you. You should tell me all your secrets. What size are your shoes? Right? So, earlier with your wife, chipper patch? No way, chipper patch. You must be like me, which goes back to high amounts of ideological alignment. So we're all throwing out symbols and signals, like, you like Glock? I like Glock. No, I hate Glock. All right, whatever. Don't hang out with me. I'm kidding, I don't care. If you could shoot it, I don't care.
Some people like everything that you mentioned.
So beware of that. Some people like everything that you mentioned. I am very sensitive to people that are too eager. They want to go too fast. And so from a manipulation standpoint, if somebody keeps increasing the tempo at which we have to interact with one another, that's a red flag for me. Okay? It keeps getting faster and faster and faster and faster. No, this is a relationship, two-way street. It should be mutual. So people that move too quickly or that seek undue access and placement are huge red flags to me. Hi, welcome. It's our first time here at this church. By the way, what are all the security codes and where's the safe? Okay? Why do you need to know that? You know? So, but on the flip side, there are a handful of good people that have no social skills whatsoever. So just be aware of that too. They don't know that what they're asking is inappropriate. And so sometimes you have to look at someone and go, hey, that's an inappropriate question. I'm so glad you came though. Would you like some coffee? Kind of reset the boundaries a little bit. So external indicators, refuge, shirt, SOE stuff, cross on your neck, super cool. You know, like there's that. So that's a starter. Those that don't know, we kind of hunt people with Caleb House, our counter-trafficking ministry. We're lightly touching on some of the things that we do there. So social media, follow somebody's social media, you know, Facebook stalking, sure you've heard of this. Facebook stalk somebody. Why? I want to know what their interests are. Oh my gosh, do people blab on Facebook? I can't stand Facebook. But it's a very useful intelligence gathering tool because you're going to tell me all the things you care about. Cool, super cool. And if some of the things you care about are deal breakers for me, I'm glad I figured that out before we became friends. If not, high amount of ideological alignment. Make sense? Okay. References. Ask them for references. Reputable people should be able to provide 3 references probably off the top of their head. Talk to this guy, and this guy. Now, references, I can give you 3 excellent references and 3 terrible references right now. So we select who I want you to talk to about me, right? But call their references, check their references, because that speaks to their reputation. Give you an example in faith group. Somebody who's been church hopping for 20 years, they've never been anywhere for more than 12 weeks in a row. It's like, at some point, the problem is you, sweetheart. You know, it's not everybody else. People do that with mutual assistance groups too. They do. And homesteading groups or whatever. People bounce from group to group to group. Maybe they'll love me over here. I guess we'll just say this. You can't fix people, by the way. You can't. I've tried. The Father can do that if the broken person will let them, but you can't do that. And so burn as little time and money trying to fix people as possible. And especially people that don't want to be fixed, that's a no-go. OSINT. You guys ever heard of OSINT? Open Source Intelligence? Okay, what is that? Basically stuff that's in newspapers and on the internet. There's a little website called People Finders. You ever heard of that? People Finders is like $20 a month, maybe. And if you don't got $20, your first report or 2 is free. Okay, I want to know more about you. So we're going to have a conversation. And it's in good spirits. Hey man, where are you from? What do you do? I love your socks. That's awesome. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm taking notes in my head. I'm like, that's super interesting. I'm going to go, if I'm serious, you're going to come be a part of who we are. All right, I'm going to run your name through some databases and see what I find. Because we have caught 4 pedophiles with Caleb House because they tried to volunteer for us. Because they seek access and placement to victimized children. Okay? So I'm not saying that that's the case here with anybody here, but they're not telling you, oh yeah, my motivation for being a part of what you're doing is this. So use People Finders, because that's going to give you a history on people. So I've got their interests, their reputation, their history, and then background checks is another thing, depending on how serious you are. Because background checks are going to give you red flags. Now, we all come from somewhere. And there are people that I trust my life to who were felons at one point in their life. Fact, some of my best friends, the strongest brothers, were complete scumbags before they found Messiah. Okay, it doesn't mean it's a deal breaker. It just means it's part of the conversation. Hey, what was this thing that happened in Sacramento? Right? Oh, well, let me tell you about that. That's a great indicator. Or I don't want to talk about that, and screw you for bringing it up, man. That's not a great indicator. Remember that whole you got to have conversations with people? We know that Lisa's shoes aren't a size 7. She likes garlic. She's into gardening. She's been doing that since prior to COVID, mostly flowers. But then she got into vegetables, rutabaga. Is this making sense? Do you see how it all kind of stacks together? Okay. So background checks give you red flags, context and dwell time. That means spending time together. What I'm looking for is consistency when I spend time with people. Are they the same people every time? Now, everybody has ebbs and flows. For everything, there's a season, Ecclesiastes 3. But are they consistently themselves? How far apart do their good days and their bad days look? That's another thing. Because some people swing so wildly on that spectrum that, man, I love them on a good day, and on a bad day, I want to commit felonies. I can't be around this person. That's a deal breaker, right? And here's the thing. If you don't like Tina today, you are not going to like her when the balloon goes up. All right? It's not going to get better when the Panamanian paratroopers are landing over there and they're assaulting our position. It's like, Tina's all right. She's fine. What do you got?
Just about forgot, but go ahead. I raised my hand again. I forgot.
Okay. When it comes back. So I'm looking for consistency with people. Are they the same people? I hear all the time from people when I'm at things like this, like, oh my gosh, Bear, you're just like you are on the internet. Okay. Only difference is iPhone or not. Vibes, what do you got?
That's because someone pulls a security or a background check or something on you, that's showing they're concerned about your relationship. Don't take that as you're checking on me.
Yes, I will repeat
I
that.
had suggested to my brother's sister, whole background check.
Yep.
He's supposed to pull his plug on his mother and his wife. He was still married. But he got blasted because, oh, you're suggesting, oh, he's such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something you should be sensitive to as well. So what this gentleman was saying is just because somebody pulls a background check on somebody doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It means that that person cares, in a nutshell. Because there's things I want to know. Now, everybody has dirt. The nicest person in here has dirt. It's just a fact. Everybody's got dirt. Cool. Sir.
The source. We check those sources. In other words, I've been in jail with people, and they've been convicted felons, and they weren't criminals.
Yep.
But the system will brand them, and that'll pop up on a background check.
Mm-hmm.
That this person did this felony.
So, background checks, especially if you're doing anything firearms related, I will throw that out there. And I don't think things are going to get better under this current administration. It's just my 2 cents. And I think, frankly, a bunch of y'all took your foot off the accelerator in November when Trump got elected. And I don't think you should have. So, next, vibes, trust your gut. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Simple as that. If I'm not, do you want to hang out? And if you're not like, heck yeah, I want to hang out, we shouldn't try and talk ourselves into it. So like, you know what, man, I'm just not that into it. You seem super cool. And all, that sounds like a breakup conversation, right? From at the end of the first date to the second date, it's like, I'd love to take you out again one time. It's like, you know, you're super nice. You got great eyes. I just don't see this thing working out. Okay. The truth hurts one time. BS hurts over and over and over again. And it'll hurt both of you. So that's just something to be aware of. Holy Spirit. We have this thing through the Spirit called wisdom and discernment. A knowing. So others will call it intuition. Sometimes you just know. When I met J.A. Dudley, I knew. And I didn't run Dudley through a background check. I didn't check his social media. I didn't do all of these things I just told you to do. When I met him, I was like, that's my bro. Praise the Father. That's my brother. He also didn't get my debit cards that day. Okay? So he didn't go from outside, he's not even in a circle, to immediately on the inside of the circle. In fact, what happened was, I was like, why don't you come join us for the fall feasts? Because we keep the biblical feasts, which is 8 days for us to hang out and observe each other so I can look for consistency while I check his socials and his references and make sure he is who he says he is. And here's another thing you can do. Ask somebody the same question or have them tell the same story 2, 3, 4, 5 times over time. Now, sometimes you just forget the details. But if there's wild inconsistencies there, that's a touch point. There's something underneath that that's not true. And it might not even be bad. It could be guilt or pain or shame or hurt or something that they're covering up with this part of the story. So that's where we get into the work of the Spirit, fixing that. So, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, gives us discernment. Continuing. We're almost done. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you bored?
No, sir.
Not you, the guy behind you.
No.
He looks like way more. I mean, I think I could take you. Him, I'm not so sure. I just want to make sure you're not going to fly out of your chair and be like, okay, I'm picking on you. You're good. All right, so now I got all these people. I've vetted these people. We went to the Midwestern Preparedness Project, the Self-Reliance Festival, and Kentucky Sustainable Living, and blah, 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 blah. We're all friends, we're homies, we're doing the things together. Now what? Everybody in your group should be replaceable. So if you're in charge of anything, whether it's the whole group or the garden or you're the medic or whatever it is, every one of you should be replaceable. Your immediate job is to train somebody else up to replace you, like today. What do we do if Lisa breaks her foot and can't get out in the garden? I guess we're just not going to eat. Like, no, we need somebody else that knows as much as you do. What do we do if the medic gets sick? I guess we're all dead. That sucks. Okay? So cross-train your people in the fundamentals and have a replacement for each key individual. That's called a key man issue. In business, it's actually something that you have to insure against if you get big enough. Because it's like, if that guy gets hit by a bus, the company has no value whatsoever. The Bear Independent brand, if I get hit by a bus, Dudley's awesome, but he's not me. Like if he gets behind the camera, he's like, "Shalom, I'm Bear Independent." Everybody's like, "No, you're not." It won't work, right? So that's called a key man issue, and you actually insure against that in business. That if something bad happens, what the insurance money is for a payout to replace the key man or the key woman, to buy somebody that has the skills, the personality, the expertise that that person had before they were gone. So we have to insure against that as well. None of us should be irreplaceable. We're all going to be better than others at whatever our purview is. Whatever our particular spaghetti noodle is, like that's own your spaghetti noodle. We're getting so many good t-shirts and bumper stickers out of this. Okay? But cross-train your people on the fundamentals. Most prepper stuff is like, shoot, move, communicate, sustain, right? Like we all got to know that stuff. Every one of us should know shoot, move, communicate, sustain. Sure, I'm in full support of that. We should also know how to go get firewood and how to get the tilapia out of the pond and how the water purification system works. And do we or do we not trim these sheep hooves? How are sheep different than goats? All these different things. Sir, I had no idea this was going to be this interactive.
How do you go about, I'm the guy that gets firewood, and I don't want to know anything else.
Okay? Sucks to be you. You have to learn.
Either learn or how do you get ready?
You're the guy that gets firewood, and you don't want to know anything else. Is that what you said?
I expect me to do something else if I learn something.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do with that?
Subordinate your ego and learn, because it's not about you, it's about the group. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you. You said I'm the guy that wants to get firewood and doesn't want to do anything else. So I'm responding to you as if you're the guy.
Right.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
And I don't.
Toodles. Nice knowing you. This is great. Bye. See you later. But that guy knows he knows where we live, he knows our radio frequencies, he knows the combination to the safe that has all the gold and silver in it. He knows everything. Why did you tell him everything in the first place? That's the compartmentalization part. Not everybody needs to know everything. That's the circles within circles within circles within circles. If the firewood guy knows where all the bodies are buried, we have problems. Okay? My wife doesn't know all of our plans.
Well, I'll do anything now. I don't want to leave.
You're leaving.
Yeah.
So this is going to be reproduced on the internet, and we live in a litigious society, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that. But we'll just say this: if you have decided you are leaving, or if I have decided you are leaving, this is one-party consent as far as I'm concerned. You're leaving. The end. There is no but. There is no but. And see, and then you'll get this. Who here has ever been part of a church split? That sucked. It's not the pastor and his wife and the kids that leave. It's half the congregation. And half the congregation knows where all the bodies are buried and what the radio frequencies are. Cool. So whoever the leader is needs to have a plan for that. I love my brother Dudley, genuinely. We do so much life together, I can't keep track of all the things we've done together. I have memories with Dudley that I don't even remember where they took place because we've been so many places. I have a Dudley leaves plan. It's a fact. And he should have a Bear leaves plan. Because stuff, what if, it's not even bad, but what if the Spirit tells Dudley he's got to go to Southeast Asia and go preach the word? And if he doesn't go, he's being disobedient. Do I get to hold on to Dudley because I need him for me? No. No, I can't contribute to his disobedience. I'm supposed to say, go, be blessed, go be obedient. But now I'm out of Dudley. But Dudley still knows all the things. That means there has to be a protocol to be able to change all the things. Does that make sense? Okay. If someone won't leave, I'll just say this. If they know us, posing a threat to us is about the dumbest thing you could possibly do. There are entire no-go portions of my county because us are there. Fact. So, cross-train your people, have subordinate leadership. We talked about everybody needs to be replaceable. So you're in charge of the garden. You're second in command of garden, okay? Oh no, I broke my ankle. That sucks. Go see the medic. Congratulations, you're in charge. I don't know what to do. Talk to Lisa. What size shoes does she wear? Okay? Here's the last thing on this little section here. People come and people go. This occurred to me the other day. I've had a season of people going lately for all kinds of reasons. People dying, people moving on to other jobs, people relocating. It's like everybody just keeps going. This sucks. It can be very demoralizing, but it was really cool. The Father's awesome. If you don't know, we teach pre-hospital trauma medicine. That's what we do. Do you know the difference between clinically dead and biologically dead? Some of you look like this. Clinically dead is no pulse rate and no respirations. Heart's not pumping blood and the diaphragm's not moving, causing the lungs to reliably expand and contract. That's clinically dead. Biologically dead is Lazarus in the tomb for 4 days, turned into goo, and they say, Master, he stinks. Okay? That's biologically dead. It's necrosis, it's cell death. That's why it was a miracle when Messiah raised Lazarus. Because he wasn't having heart palpitations. He was decomposing. All right? So clinically dead means no pulse, no heartbeat, and no respirations. And so if we see something, how do we know something's respirating? It expands and contracts over and over and over again. Your autonomic nervous system just does it. You don't even think about it. If you thought about it, you would die, okay? It just happens. Anything that we observe in nature that is not expanding and contracting, we would call it clinically dead because it's not respirating. So it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh, that's why we do this, because we're respirating. Not that I'm preaching right now, but the word for breath is the same word for wind, which is the same word for spirit. So how do we know the spirit's in it? It keeps expanding and contracting. It's respirating. That's natural. And so having been part of organizations basically my entire life, somebody's always coming and somebody's always going. And you need to be okay with that. And whatever it is that you're building needs to be able to survive the coming and going. It helps to have a founder, like founder of our tribe or founder of my company, because the founder holds on to the vision so that as people come and go, we stay true to what the vision is. right? This is why we do this, whatever it might be. Whatever, this is not, we're not doing biz dev right now, but I love biz dev. What's the mission statement for your group? Because if you have a mission statement for your group, you can just point back to, that's why we do that right there. And then, good idea, Ferry. You know, boss, we should really just point at the mission statement. Does it support the mission statement? If the answer is no, we're not doing it. If the answer is yes, then we can do a cost-benefit analysis. Okay, we could talk about it. Do we want to do it? Do we not want to do it? But if you lose your why, especially as new people are coming in and leaving, you can get off kilter. Then you end up with a group that doesn't look like what you intended to start in the first place anyway. Side note, tangent. All right. Have I sufficiently bored you all to death yet? Do I need to land this plane? You good? Okay. Not you, Amanda, the guy behind you. Okay, he's good. Hold on, I still got like this part right here. All right, so, yeah, that guy. Bottom line, people are the best thing and the worst thing about life. Okay? The best things that have ever happened to me aren't things, they're people. The worst things that have ever happened to me weren't things, they were people. And so we should love people, do life with people. We should also be careful about which people we bring around our children and our wives and our friends, because you get the wrong person too close to you, they can do a lot of damage. So we're all building, hopefully, we're all building groups for when the world ends. What if the world never ends? This is one of the things about preparedness, honestly, that pisses me off on occasion. We hyper-fixate on when insert thing here happens. When the book of Revelation comes to life, or when China nukes us, or when Iran, or pick a thing, or Civil War 2.0, or blah, blah, blah. What if that never happens? And you went through all this effort to come out here and watch William butcher a sheep and hear me run my mouth for an hour and camp on the ground and hold on. I don't want to lose this thought. We'll do hands afterwards, okay? Shut up, dog. All right. What if the world never ends? If the whole reason you were doing this thing was from a survival standpoint only, you miss out on all the joy and goodness of people. And that's really trying to watch my language. That's a really bad way to spend your life, in my opinion. So I would submit to you, if you're going to build a group of people, it should be a functional group of people that do things that bring you joy, and more importantly, the creator of the universe joy. So we have a lot of businesses and a couple of ministries. They're all filled with people, which goes back to spaghetti, okay? Grindstone got started with a minivan. I've rented a minivan and drove to Florida and did disaster relief. And there were 32 volunteers from the YouTube channel that just met me there. It was awesome. It was a literal miracle. We raised $3,000. We drove 3,000 miles. We had 33 volunteers. We fed 3,000 meals in 3 days, and I got home and I still had $3,000 in the bank account, even though I spent every cent of it. I was like, that's crazy. And I was telling Pastor Joe at church, and he's like, would you tell the rest of the congregation? I was like, sure. And so I relay that. Should have taken 2 minutes. It took about 15 minutes, as you may have noticed. And a brother comes up to me and goes, that's awesome. The next time you do that, we want to go with you. I want to go with you. I was like, oh, next time. Oh, yeah, totally. The next time, sure. What are you doing next week? And so we went back again and again and again. And Grindstone has grown to the point with people that I do life with that millions of tons of debris have been moved. Millions of dollars have been raised for people who've lost everything. I don't know how many meals we've fed. I don't know how many miles we put on the, I don't know. I can't keep track anymore. We've had this huge kingdom impact that started as a little tiny thing with people that I trusted, that we've nurtured and grown. Out of Grindstone, Caleb House was born. I will not tell you how many people we've rescued. I will not tell you how many people we've prosecuted, but it surprises even me. And we're nobody. I'm just some dude from Oklahoma, but I have groups of people that I trust. And even though I trust them literally with my life, they're still compartmentalized because I can't burn them by saying the wrong thing, and they can't burn me, right? Because that'd be a violation of trust. They or I could literally die because of it. And so while everybody else is hyperfixating on, we could die in SHTF, it's like, I could die right now because of it. They could die right now because of it. It's one of the things that helps me have a little bit of subject matter expertise on this is I'm already living it. You guys might be living it later if the world ends. Like when the grid goes down, cool, tornadoes and hurricanes. Already do it, right? With people that I love is my point. Refuge. We've got products on 4 continents, 48,000 customers, 144 lives saved to date already with people that we love. Living life intentionally. Mutual assistance group, tribe, living life intentionally. We're already doing stuff with people that looks very prepperish. It looks very preparedness homesteady, because it is, because we're us, with a group of people that I trust that brings me joy right now, that is serving the kingdom of God right now before the world ever ends. And so I would encourage you, as you're building your little fiefdoms wherever you are near Topeka, Kansas, because half of you are from Topeka, Kansas here, so you should have a 50-person mag today, just today. Okay, Bear. That guy fell asleep. All right. As you're building your little fiefdoms, think not just about, well, how do we survive the end of the world as we know it, and how do we actually enjoy life together right now? Because people are the best thing and the worst thing about life. And the best things, for me, are my people that I've met at events just like this. So that is trust, vetting, and compartmentalization. The end.
Thank you, Bear.